Yesterday was a big day for a lot of people. For those that are interested in music, Avenged Sevenfold released Life is But a Dream, which is a really good album, and Across the Spider-Verse came out in theaters, which garnered critical acclaim, and also Street Fighter 6 came out, which, again, garnished critical acclaim. It's a big day for June 2nd, and as per Darkside Phil, he used it as an ample opportunity to quote-unquote show off his fighting game skills, as well as entertain people. The only entertainment that came out of it was him getting his ass kicked by a lot of people that know Street Fighter a little bit better than him. But throughout the entirety of that stream, he ended up getting $1,000 tips from one of his old whales. Because this whale, Jax Raxer, always comes around whenever Street Fighter is around. We already knew about this, and other people have covered this a lot better than I would have. So big ups to those people. But for now, let's go over the aftermath of what happened after June 2nd.
Let me tell you something, brother.
It's a Snortomania feature.
Snort, snort.
Oh, good.
Drip,
Snort.
snort. I got the drip.
Yeah.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
There's a lot of elephants that are in DSP's room right now, but this one, he really has to cover this. I don't know why.
Yesterday on my first stream, I was basically inundated with trolling messages. All right, here's what happened. Allow me to explain why this happened.
Trolling messages. So essentially what he ended up getting was a lot of friend requests saying that I want to be your friend, but it was from detractors. So that's what he got. Did he get troll messages? Debatable. Most of the time he doesn't want to show anybody the messages because he always loves to cower behind a black backdrop.
Because there was absolutely no way to prevent this from happening until you actually played on a stream, okay? So
Phil, I really want to know how you think that in order to prevent that from happening, you have to be on a stream. A lot of people that are playing Street Fighter 6 aren't streaming the game, Phil. They're playing it for their own fucking enjoyment. I love how you have to think that everyone streaming it, they have to do that. They have to learn about this, even though most of them aren't streaming it.
with all of its new games, Capcom instituted a new system called the Capcom ID system. What it is you create an online account on their new website, this Capcom ID website. And this website is your online identity for all Capcom games, including games like Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and all of that.
If you're saying it's for all the Capcom games, then it's been around for a while, Phil. I think the reason why you had to bring this up is because you had no idea about it. Then again, wasn't that implemented in the betas as well?
If Capcom has promotions or opportunities, they'll email you via your account, your Capcom ID account, so you're in the know about it. In fact, that's how I registered for and got into the Street Fighter 6 closed betas last year.
Then it's not a new thing, Phil. It's not new if they start implementing it with the betas. It's not new then. Way to contradict yourself, Phil.
And so, this account ID is linked with your online profile, and any game you play for Capcom, you're essentially logged into your Capcom ID account.
Yeah, we got that, Phil. It's quite obvious. Why is it that you have to repeat things that are completely obvious?
So, when you play Street Fighter 6, two things happen. You log into your console account, whether that's Xbox Live, PlayStation, or I guess it would be Steam if you're playing on PC. And then you also log into your Capcom ID account. So you're logging into two at once. All right.
Not if you're linking it to the account. Phil, do you not know how account linking works?
Even it's weird, it's confusing because there's a menu in the game that says friends list. But the friends list says, oh, this is your Capcom friends list. Press right thumbstick to go to your Xbox friends list.
That's not very confusing, Phil. It's quite obvious because they have two different friends lists. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 did this. Why are you saying that this is a brand new thing and you're confused about it?
Two friends lists. Yeah, there's two. Okay? So, even if you had previously, before you bought Street Fighter 6, you went into your console settings, your PC settings, you said, I don't want friend requests. I don't want people to invite me to clubs. I don't want any of that. And you turned it all off.
You don't want that, Phil, because you don't want to interact with other people. You rather just be that antisocial loser that like hides in the corner and not interact with anybody. That's what you are. But yet you're trying to say that, oh, this is what you have to do for it. It's like, Phil, we kind of get it at this point. Someone tried to play Diablo 4 with you and you immediately turned them down saying that their chat was interactive enough.
It does nothing.
Well, because you didn't try anything, Phil. It's clear as day you don't want to try anything. And you say that you've done everything when you really haven't.
because Capcom has their own system set up separate from that. All right.
Okay, and?
Right? Now, you would not know that until you play Street Fighter 6 because no other game has used it in this manner before.
Phil, there are other games besides Capcom that have done this. Like I said before, Activision did it with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Again, why is this new and why is this a fucking problem?
All right. So when you log into Street Fighter 6, now if someone sees your online Capcom ID, which you can blatantly see if you're on a stream, people will know your name, they can go to the Capcom ID website and they can spam invite you as a friend. And what happens is they do it so many times that it overloads the system. You could go to like, oh, I want to delete this request. It doesn't even exist anymore.
Phil, you're just talking out of your ass with this. You have no idea what you're talking about, but yet you want to play the victim like you always do, and you want to say that, oh, they kept spamming it, guys. They kept spamming it. It's like, Phil, you've been hated on for a good reason, and you're trying to pussy out of everything, and you don't want to go head on to confrontation. It's clear as day that you like to cower in fear.
Because they can invite, delete, invite, delete, invite, delete. And that's what they were doing to me yesterday. They would invite, delete, and I'd be like, well, I could dismiss the request, but if I try to accept it so I can block the person, you can't even accept it because it says, oh, this invite doesn't exist anymore. Okay?
Again, Phil, you're talking straight out of your ass like you tend to do a lot.
So the problem is, and this is really boneheaded on behalf of Capcom's part, they have it by default that any invite you get pops up on your screen. And there is absolutely no system whatsoever to stop the pop-ups in the game. I'm going to repeat that. There's no system in the game to stop pop-ups in the game.
Yes, there is, Phil. There are many ways that you can stop the pop-ups from happening, but you like to look over to your left at your chat to make sure that your pignosis is working, to make sure that everyone is on your side when people can just go look it up on Google, something that you did not do. We get it, Phil. You have a neck problem. Quit. Just stop doing that, please.
Right? Like, what? That's like saying you're in your car driving, and on the dashboard there's an alert. But the only way to disable the alert signal is to go in your house, go online on your computer, log into your car's company's website, and say, disable alerts. Then you get back in your car and the alert stops popping up.
Phil, that is a terrible fucking analogy. It really fucking is. Then again, you're king of making these terrible analogies. But I'm going to play along with this analogy, Phil. So, you want all the alerts to be shut off. Okay, Phil, so if you need an oil change, if your engine is fucked up, or your battery's about to die, or your tires are low, or you're about to run out of gas, no more alerts. And then you're stranded on the side of the road. And you're like, but my car should have told me what was wrong. What the fuck?
It's exactly the same premise.
No, it's not, Phil. What yours was potentially putting you at risk, while this one is just bullshit on your part.
Why would you have the ability to disable this issue not in what you're doing that the issue is in? It doesn't make any sense at all. Why make you go somewhere else, right?
You just don't want to learn and don't want to do anything, Phil. Like I said, you want to play the victim in all this. But go back to drinking your water, please. Is it crunchy, Phil? Yep, it is. Cherry flavored.
So, here I am, trying to play Street Fighter 6 yesterday, and every single moment that I'm not in an online match, because thankfully when you're playing an online match, the pop-ups stop. But
no, Phil, you actually had that when you were playing a match, and all of a sudden pop-ups kept happening, and you were bitching and complaining. It only stopped because you ran out of the battle hub, and you moved on something else, and you tried removing everything from your Xbox so that it would not pop up. That's what you tried to do, and it didn't work out in your favor.
But every moment I'm not in an online match, invite, 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 invite. Like, what the hell is your problem? How stupid can you be? Why would I want this? Even if this were intentional and I wanted pop-ups, why would I want pop-ups every second? Why would I want pop-ups on my screen when I'm in training mode with a character and there's commands on the screen I need to read and the pop-ups are blocking the command inputs?
Two things with that, Phil. One, it's to get a rise out of you, which clearly it worked. The second thing, don't bullshit us with the whole, I need to learn the commands of how to learn these characters. Phil, anytime you try to retain information, it doesn't stick very well. Every time you're trying to pull off a certain move, you're not putting in the inputs correctly, and you're going to bitch at the game for dropping your inputs. Like you always tend to do with any game. Doesn't matter if it's Street Fighter, Zelda, or just any game, you've done this.
Like, this is stupidity. And this just proves Capcom didn't test it.
So it's Capcom's fault. Way to go back to blaming the devs for something that it's clearly not their fault.
They didn't. They just assumed it works, and they didn't have anyone actually test it to see how intrusive it could be.
Because nobody had an issue with it, Phil. The only one that has an issue with it is you.
As I'm playing, people are telling me, well, we think what it has to be is you have to go to the Capcom ID website outside of the game on a PC, log in with your account, okay, and then there's options. So, first of all, I haven't logged into the Capcom ID website since the first beta last, what was it, October? So I gotta log in, I gotta find out my password, you know, I'm trying to do all this shit. I finally get in it, and then there is an option. It says, turn off friend requests, turn off guild requests or clan requests, just turn it all off. So there's all these different options, you have to turn them all to off. So then I do that, okay? We go back into the game, the pop-ups continue. And I'm like, what the hell?
Clearly you did something wrong with that, Phil, but then again, some things need to update. You ever think about updates, Phil?
So at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't really care about this at this point. This is so stupid and annoying. I'm just going to ignore it, which I did.
You did, quote-unquote, ignore it, but you were still irritated by it because the look on your face when you're trying to play a game, you did not like the fact that people were sending you requests. We could tell in your face. Then again, it's back to the pride flags. With Final Fantasy V, Chill Murray covered that very fucking well. It just shows that you're not having fun, and also you're getting irritated at something you cannot control.
So I went about my merry way. I still played with Blanca offline. I just unplugged the Ethernet, which I guess you don't need to do. Someone explained to me if you go into your network settings on your Xbox, you can tell it to just go offline without having to unplug your cable. So if I need to do that ever again, now I know how to do it, which is cool because I didn't know that you could do that. But
thanks, chat. Thank you for telling me how to do something that I could go look up on Google.
that's convenient. I don't have to get up and pull my cable out and plug it back in.
So like the Demon Souls days where you try to play it and someone automatically healed the character and you got so mad you had to unplug the Ethernet cable. I'm reminded of that video, Phil. That video was fucking hilarious.
I played with Blanca offline, then I went online for 2 hours. When I was online, anytime I wasn't playing a match, invite. Now, luckily, they were pretty smart in this regard. They put it in a system that you can block your name and everyone else's name. So basically, your name doesn't show up, nor anyone else's. So there very well could have been people who were doing really disgusting names and insulting things. I never saw a single bit of it at all.
Well, then again, didn't you just complain about Capcom for not testing it, but now you're giving them praise for, oh, you can hide the names because it's something nasty? Phil, you're assuming that's what's going to happen. You automatically make assumptions of what it will be when it might not be the case. You're just so paranoid that people will find you and they will try to fight you and you don't want to deal with it. You will automatically deny any requests. Oh, someone wants to fight me? Nah, deny. Oh, they want to fight me again? Deny. That's going to be the constant of your streams if that ever happened.
I saw a bunch of asterisks, which is good. That means these people can't get control of the stream. You know, all you're seeing is these pop-ups. It was hilarious because people on my stream were like, what a bunch of losers. Like, what are they literally sat here for your whole stream just sending invites? Yeah, they're losers. That's how these people are.
Says the biggest loser himself.
You have to understand, this is the tip of the iceberg of the things that these people do to harass me and my family. It's ridiculous, you know.
Phil, nobody's going to go after your family. I love how you immediately want to go, oh, they're putting my family at risk. No, Phil. Your family has nothing to do with Street Fighter 6. You're the one that proclaimed that you're excited for Street Fighter. You have to do it. But come on. Quit putting them as a shield for shit like this. Just stop.
To think that they would do that, this is like nothing compared to the things that have already been done, okay?
Some of the shit that has been done, you've done it yourself. So why do you think Kettleton is right next to me right now?
Basically, it was very annoying, and...
It was annoying, and it got a rise out of you. Yes, we know.
What are you going to do? I put up with it. So at the very end of my first stream with Blanca, right? I'm sitting here, and I'm chilling with you guys for like an extra few minutes, and I said, well, now that we're done with the gameplay, can we maybe try to figure this out again?
Which you ended up trying to do. And yeah, all that did was just stall. That's what you did it for. It wasn't for, oh, let's figure this out. You're stalling for tips. Why do you think that Jax Raxer came by and gave you the 1,000?
So I leave the game again. This is the second or third time I left the game. I go back in. Now all of a sudden the pop-ups stop. And all the options, like the options for friends and list and everything, all grayed out. So I'm like, so it worked. But the problem was, when you went on the Capcom ID website, it doesn't work right away. Because I'd done this hours before.
Like I said, Phil, it needed to update.
And it didn't take effect in the game. It just kept spamming me with these messages. So, here's the deal. If you're going to play Street Fighter 6, all right, and you're going to stream it, I strongly recommend you you go into the Capcom ID website and you set it up to make it only friends on your friends list can send you invites to stuff, or you just disable it entirely.
Phil, that's not going to be a problem for other streamers because they're not toxic like you. The reason why you were bombarded with invites and requests was because of how toxic you are. They want to fight the most toxic gamer on the fucking planet. That is the reason why. You don't see that happening to Maximilian, dude. You don't see that to any other people that are streaming the game. It was just you. So this whole message to the streamers to disable it, it's not going to work with you, Philip.
Because this is a method by which people control you. You can be trying to play the game, and maybe someone's salty because they lost a match to you online. Now they can just sit there fucking sending you requests for 2 hours.
Phil, you're always salty after a match. Anytime you claim to do something right in the match and you get your ass whooped, you're salty.
And every time you try to do anything in the game, you got fucking pop-ups in your face. I mean, it's stupidity. This is not just a streamer issue. This is for everyone who plays the game.
No. It's not a streamer issue, and it's not for everybody else. It was only happening to you. Don't you get the point with this, Phil?
I can't believe they put no option in the game to disable it. That's just ridiculously stupid. If anything, just say, I don't want pop-up messages on my screen. Okay, good. Done.
Didn't you just say that you had to go to the website to get that removed? But no, you want to say that, oh, they should automatically implement that. Phil, you just don't get it. You already did it already. Why are you complaining?
People can endlessly send me friend requests. I'll never see them unless I check the menu. How did they not know that was something that people would want in 2023? Like, that's complete lack of any kind of big picture thinking, right?
Now you're going back to Capcom saying that it's their fault for not doing that. We get it. You hate Capcom for letting this shit happen. As mentioned before, let it go.
So anyway...
And now he's looking at his chat, just making sure that his cult is in line, and they know that what you're saying is truth and gospel.
I strongly recommend that. Go into the Capcom ID site, log in with your credentials you already have, all right, and block those abilities or limit them, because you can limit them to only have people who you want being able to send you those messages. So, good news.
Then again, Phil, you don't want anybody to send you messages. Even Jade, your fan, wanted to fight you in Street Fighter, and it never happened. Just because you don't want to interact with people in-game, you want control in your chat. Why do people like you again, even though they can't play video games with you? How is that fair to them?
After that first stream with Blanca, when I came back at night for JP, my second character that I used, 0 messages, because they were disabled. So.
And also you got that $1,000 and you were excited for it and you try to rub it into Tractor's face. We're not upset that you got the $1,000. We're just baffled by the fact of how someone so stupid can give you that much money.
Oh, it worked absolutely perfectly. And I had no issue moving forward after that, which I was obviously happy for. I'm like, good. Now I don't have any issues. And now we're in a good position where I can play and enjoy and not have intrusive bullshit. So.
You're not going to enjoy the game, Phil. Lord fucking knowing, anytime you're going to play Street Fighter 6 and you lose a match to someone that is outplaying you, you're still going to be a salty little bitch boy. So not only did Phil blame Capcom for the whole pop-up message fiasco, he also blamed them for the Ultimate Edition, saying that they didn't tell people about what the Ultimate Edition will come with, especially with the currency. It's like, Phil, didn't you read the description of the product you were buying?
One thing that actually I am annoyed at, all right, is I bought the Ultimate version of the game. The Ultimate version came with the whole Season 1 DLC pack.
Even though you were actually complaining that you wanted to get it and you begged people to get you it, but you ended up buying it anyway.
Meaning you get all 4 characters, all right, which is good, and all their outfits and all their colors. So that's good when they come out. I have them all.
Good for you. Even though you still complained that you wanted it and you begged your fans to get it for you.
But I didn't get any of the alternate outfits for the base cast of 18 characters, and the colors are ridiculously expensive for them. Okay?
And that's your fault, Phil. That's the little thing that I mentioned before called buyer's remorse.
I bought the Ultimate Edition of the game. It came with 7,700 tickets. Well, each color for each character, okay, costs, what was it, like 100 to 200 tickets, something like that?
And that's expensive how?
But there's a multi-pack for each character. If you want to unlock all 10 colors, it's like 6,000 tickets. So wait a minute. If I want to get all the colors for a character, let's say I have a character I really like, that's all the tickets I have? Seriously, that's...
And you're still complaining. Phil, why are you complaining about this? Those are optional things. Like, if you want to do it, more power to you, but you're complaining about optional things.
All I have. I'm going to immediately just run out of all my tickets that I spent extra money on to get the Ultimate Edition of the game. What?
Phil, nobody told you to get the Ultimate Edition of the game. You would have been fine with the fucking Deluxe Edition. But no, you had to go up and beyond and spend $20 more for the Ultimate Edition. So that's on you, buddy.
In addition to this, listen to this. And this really threw me for a loop. You can't get the new outfits, the alternate outfits, with the credits that came with the Ultimate Edition. There's 2 currencies in the game. Tickets and coins. The tickets you earn by playing. The coins you have to buy.
And a lot of games have done this, Phil. Going back to what I said about Activision with Modern Warfare 2, they've done this before. If you want to get certain things in that game, you have to buy credits for it if you want to. It's a pay-to-win type of ordeal. This is the same thing that they're doing with Street Fighter 6.
The only way to get the outfits is to buy them, and the pack that you'd be able to afford all the alternate outfits is $25 additional.
That's only if you're willing to spend that money, Phil. Again, it is optional to do so if you choose to do the pay-to-win option. How is this Capcom's fault exactly? Yeah, you're just putting your head in your fucking hands because it's like, I need to think of something to say and how it's Capcom's fault. Wah.
$25 additional for the...
Yes, Phil, we already know. $25 fucking dollars. Move on.
skins, right? That annoys me. Because I'll be honest with you guys, if I had known that the tickets couldn't be used for that, I probably wouldn't have even gotten the Ultimate Edition. I would have just got the Standard Edition, and I would have taken the $20 and bought the skins.
Phil, you would have fucking just bought the Deluxe Edition. But then again, you've done this so much where you've gone for the Ultimate Edition or Deluxe Edition if it worked out in your benefit. You finally got something that didn't work out in your benefit, and you're finding an excuse to blame Capcom for it and bitch about it.
Right? Instead, I invested like $40 extra in this game that I don't feel like I really got much out of, at least now. I mean, down the road when the DLC characters come out, sure. But right now, I feel kind of cheated.
Well, whose fault is that, Phil? Clearly not Capcom's.
Alright, that was kind of messed up.
On your part. It's no one's fault but your own, Phil. But then again, it's never your fault. You did everything right. You did nothing wrong. Did everything correct. It's Capcom's fault. And you want to keep putting that blame into your chat. It's like, no, it's not my fault. Capcom is to blame. So go blame Capcom.
Why are there 2 currencies? And by the way, Capcom never explained that.
Yes, they did. They've explained that there's going to be microtransactions. Those coins that you described, those are the microtransactions. The tickets, those you can get on your own. So, do you want to earn them legitimately, or do you want to pay to win, Phil? Then again, knowing you always love to pay to win. I mean, look at how many pulls you got in WWE Champions.
They purposefully didn't explain that, so there would be confusion on launch day, and people would be like, oh, I can't or can't use it. They did it on purpose.
No, Phil, they did not do this on purpose. They did not bamboozle you. They did not trick you. Everybody knew that they were going to have microtransactions with Street Fighter 6. The only person that didn't know was you, and you'd want to make it a big ol' Capcom is stupid for this bullshit when other companies have done it before. You didn't do it with Modern Warfare 2 now, did you?
Okay, and that's messed up. And, it's annoying. It's very annoying in that regard, okay? And, I guess we'll see what happens, but now I know for a fact some people are like, you can unlock those outfits for free by playing World Tour mode. No, that's true.
Then why are you complaining, Phil? If you said that you can unlock them in World Tour, that'll be fine. Then why don't you go fuck around in World Tour then and earn them legitimately? Oh no, wait. I gotta make an excuse to why Capcom are a bunch of greedy assholes for this.
That's true. However, World Tour mode, you have to master training with a fighter to unlock their alternate outfit.
And?
From the people who reviewed World Tour mode, they're essentially saying that could take upwards of 10 to 15 hours per character.
And we already know that you don't want us to take the time and effort into doing something in a game, Phil. We already knew this. So how is this an issue?
Because when you, let's say you meet Ryu, he's going to give you a bunch of tasks to do. Get this many hits during a fight. Use this many special moves. Get certain perfects. Do this, do that. Then you have to build up the affinity with the character. So you have to earn the in-game currency and go buy items and gift the items to the character to get their affinity up. Once you max the character out, which takes a ridiculously long time, then you unlock their outfit. Now you're going to do that for 18 characters?
Yes, if people really like the game that much and they want to get 100% in the game, yes, people will do that, Phil. That is their own way of enjoying a game. This is clearly not something in your department. That is not your forte.
Do you have 100 extra hours to not be playing the game competitively online to be doing this?
Yeah, a lot of people actually do. Some people have a lot of free time with their fucking hands. Some people can actually take time off of work to like go on vacation and do it, if they choose to. Again, Phil, different strokes, different folks.
I'm not aware of anyone who wants to do that, right?
Because you're lazy and you don't want to do it yourself, so you're going to project all the laziness on the other people. So we get it. Other people having fun? Nah, watch me have quote-unquote fun instead. Quit picking at your fucking teeth, dude. Like, I get it. You don't have good hygiene. God, fuck.
That's what I mean. What's going to ultimately happen here is people are going to be like, screw that. I'm just going to drop the money, right?
That is if they choose to, Phil. There is a thing called the power of choice. Do you want to pay to win, or do you want to do it legitimately in-game? The choice is ultimately up to the player. It's not the company's fault for giving them choice.
Here you go. Amnesiac Aaron says, I saw on Reddit, someone got Chun-Li's alternate outfit. It took them exactly 7 hours just to get the outfit.
And? What is the fucking point with that, Phil? People can do that. People can speedrun it if they choose to. They can have fun their own fucking way. How is this a complaint?
7 hours per outfit, 18 characters. You do the math. That's over 100 hours of gameplay, right? Now,
yeah, if you want to like really put the math into it, it's like 126 hours, maybe less if how quick you are and how good at the game you are. People can enjoy the game their own way. I'm sounding like a broken record here. Jesus Christ. The aneurysm, the tumor is just throbbing.
From what I've seen is it's faster later on. Like once you get later into the World Tour mode and your character's all leveled up, it'll be easier, but it's still a grind. It's
okay, so you're saying it's going to be a grind, but it's going to be easier if you level up the character more. So again, where's the issue?
Still time investment to get free outfits, right? So for me, I mean, I'm strongly considering spending the money to get the outfits. I am.
Then again, it's not really much of a surprise because you like to drop money for shit that's either A, not important, or B, something that you don't want to grind for. So, no shock there.
I want the alternate outfits. I think it would be really cool to have the classic outfits for the characters that are the older school Street Fighter characters. And I've seen some of the alternate outfits that I think are actually better than the originals, right?
You only want the outfits because it's Street Fighter 2. Anything else? Nah, you don't really give two shits.
So I'm definitely considering it. I'm not going to do it yet, but I'm thinking about it, okay?
You heard him, chat. Give him money so he can do it without having to earn it legitimately because he wants to take the lazy man route.
Since I like the game, and since I think it would give some variety, be able to pick different outfits and stuff.
That's not much for variety, Phil. It really isn't. You just want to say that it is to give yourself a pat on the back. So like, I did something good today. You know, pat myself on the back. I did something good today.
I think I might do it, but I'm not sold on it yet.
You're already sold on that, Phil. You're already sold on the notion that you want to earn them quickly without doing the quote-unquote grind.
Think about it, okay? I certainly don't want to spend another $100 on the game, but at the same time, if I'm going to get a lot of content out of it and you're enjoying it and I'm enjoying it and the alternate outfit would add something, which I think it would. It
wouldn't add anything to your content, but also, you're not a stranger to dropping $100 on something that's pretty much pointless.
And I'm thinking about doing it. I'm strongly thinking about doing it, all right? So, let's talk about that. Is it worth it? It's really not anything to talk about. I got to decide if I'm going to do it for myself, all right?
Why are you closing your eyes while you do that, Phil? Are you trying to, like, cover the fact that you shift your eyes a lot and people caught on to that? I mean, I'm going with that little notion, but at the same time, it just shows how smug you are. That you think that you're being so smug right now, but it just makes you look more and more like a douchebag.
Yeah, that actually pissed me off. That's definitely 100% a bait and switch by Capcom.
It is not a bait and switch, you dumbass. Not at all. They have told you, hey, you're getting 7,700 tickets with this edition. But if you want to get the other things, you can use the microtransactions. Again, power of choice. Like, say it with me now. Power of choice. And I'm just going to go over like the Mr. Rogers approach and point at like a little blackboard that says power of choice.
They purposefully said they were going to include the in-game currency with the Ultimate Edition, and then the currency can't be used for the things that you want. That's stupid. Why are there two currencies?
Because that is the way of modern gaming, Phil. Either pay to win or do it legitimately in-game. What more can I really say about that?
There should not be two currencies. That's the point. There should be one fucking currency in the game for everything, not two to fool you.
See previous response.
I just hate it because you can tell that the dev team of the game put insane amounts of effort into it to make it a great quality product for anyone. Whether you're a casual gamer, whether you're a hardcore gamer, they wanted to have a little bit of something for everyone. And then the idiotic people in charge said, how do we nickel and dime everyone? Let's throw in these deceptive practices. You know, that's not...
How is that deceptive? They've already explained that there's going to be microtransactions, and also there's going to be another form of currency in-game. So, how is that deceptive if people already knew about it, Phil?
Line-level game devs that put that in the game, do you think they give two shits about what currency buys what? They just want you to enjoy their game. It's the assholes in charge who do shit like that. So...
And what, you want them to get fired for using these quote-unquote deceptive practices? Phil, they're not going to get fired with it, though. Because they're finding ways to make more money off their game. And clear enough, it works.
Yeah, they should be called out for that. That's my one major criticism of the game so far.
No. It's not a criticism of the game. You're criticizing Capcom for it. Not the game. Because you're, like you said, you're loving Street Fighter 6. You're just bitching and complaining about Capcom, either for the pop-ups that happen whenever you're trying to do a fight, or the currencies. And you're saying that it's a bait and switch. Phil, do you not know what a bait and switch is?
They basically screwed everyone over with two currencies. I bet a bunch of people bought the Ultimate Edition like me, thinking, oh, I'll just buy whatever I want, and now you can't buy the stuff you want.
Phil, they probably bought the Ultimate Edition because they want to support the game. It, like I said, power of choice. Standard, deluxe, or fucking ultimate. It is their way to spend their money, and it's none of your fucking business how they do so. But you want to be like, oh no, I should have defended you, saying don't buy this edition. I did. After I had to beg. Philly boy, Philly boy, Philly boy. What are we gonna do with you?
What can you do with the tickets so far as opposed to coins, says Niku? Colors, individual colors for each character. Like avatar pieces, like for example your profile. You can have a profile background and stickers for your profile. You could buy those. And there was a third thing. I can't remember what the third thing was. There were three things you can buy with them.
You can also customize your avatar with their form of like customization. Either a new hat, new clothes, anything like that. So essentially customize your avatar. He's going to remember it and I'm going to say, hey, I already said this.
But none of them are the outfits. So you can get colors.
Phil, I already said outfits for avatars. Not for the characters you're playing with, but for the avatars themselves.
But not outfits, which is really stupid. And by the way, like I said, it's extremely expensive as well. You know, I got 7,700 tickets when I bought the game, the Ultimate Edition, and it's 6,000 tickets to buy all the colors for outfit one for a single character. It's like...
Honestly, I don't think you did any of the math. I don't think you looked into it further. You just saw one thing and you immediately assumed that was the case.
What? Really?
I got the drip going.
It just clear as day that Phil really likes to complain about a company for shit that he should have already known, but yet he'll feign ignorance and just be like, "Oh, I didn't know about this. Oh, this company's bad." What a dumbass. Yeah, he seems to love blaming companies for just anything that's not in his own control, and yet he'll say that they're just greedy assholes for it. But I'm going to go back to one point that he said about how it's going to go after him and his family about the information. He ended up telling a little story about the whole business cards, that apparently someone photoshopped them, which, again, he's just making shit up to make himself look better.
So I think that eventually I am going to check out that Battle Hub mode, but there was a problem in the beta. In the beta, anyone could join the lobby you were in and then basically spam the chat with disgusting stuff. And they were doing it constantly. When I was playing the betas, they were basically going in there and saying really disgusting things, and everyone...
The only things that I remember that they were saying about the beta is that they were talking about the bankruptcy and also say, damn, I wrecked DSP. Essentially just shit like that. And that got him so riled up that he had to fucking put up a backdrop or just a little black screen so nobody could see anything. He just got riled up and he wanted to blame everyone else for it.
Everyone's like, what the fuck? You know, people just in the server are like, what are you saying? Like, why are you saying this disgusting stuff? Because they're trying to get attention on my stream.
And it got your attention, which they got what they wanted.
There was no way at that point to disable the chat. At all. There's no way to disable the chat in Battle Hub.
No, because it's interacting with everybody, and you could have chose to ignore it, but knowing you don't really know how to ignore things much.
So here I am trying to play the beta, and you got idiots getting attention on my stream saying gross shit. I compared this to back in the day when I used to have comments open on my YouTube videos, and there was no moderation or anything back then, so it was the Wild West, and people would come by and say racist stuff, sexist stuff, disgusting sexual things, insults to myself and my family members, basically things that would get people's attention. They even doxed me, put my fucking street address in the comments of my videos, right?
Two things with that one. One, you have said disgusting shit like that before in your own content, and yet you want to backpedal and be like, no, you don't understand. I was immature back then. I didn't know any better. And you try to make fake apologies that didn't amount to anything. But yet you still do that disgusting shit today. Also, number two, you dox your own damn self anytime you would have those little house vlogs, not only in your condo, but in the house that you're in now. You had on there mail that had your address on there. So you dox yourself that way. You expose your own information out for the world to see. That's somehow everyone else's fault but your own?
They're doing it on purpose to get attention, you know? And that's dumb. How did Capcom not know that's not wanted if I want to turn up? What if you have a kid, a small kid, and they want to play Street Fighter, which they should have the right to do. It's a teen-rated game. Kids should be able to play it. But what if you don't want them seeing bad stuff in the chat? You can't disable the chat?
Phil, it's bound to happen regardless. It doesn't matter how old that child is. But then again, you seem to think that kids that are under the age of 13 playing a T-rated game is a good idea. But then again, it depends on the parenting styles. A lot of people don't seem to mind it that much. But going back to the whole thing about the chat though, kids have a way of accessing the internet, Phil, and they are going to see this type of shit. It's how they react to said shit that's gonna cause attention. Are they gonna implement the shit that's seen in the comment section or in YouTube videos? Who's to say? It all depends on the parent themselves. I love how you immediately go, think of the children. It's like, Phil, you don't give a shit about anyone's kids. Then again, didn't you say you wanted to bitch slap an 11-year-old kid? Like, come on, man. Kettleton, do you think that's stupid? Kettleton is just shaky right now. I think he's about to whistle here in a minute.
What? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's stupidity. That's absolute stupidity.
How is it stupidity exactly? Because now you're going on this crusade of think of the children when you've not done that in the past?
Look at this. Some moron in the chat who I'm now banning is actually passing around a detractor meme saying, didn't you hand out business cards with your street address on it?
Yes, he did. Any convention that he was at, him and Leanna would have business cards that had his own information on it, including his address. It had everything on there. So it was him. He did do this. Yeah, he's going to backpedal yet again and say that that wasn't him.
No, I never did.
See what I just said?
I never had business cards with my street address on it. That was an idiotic troll who photoshopped it on the internet, you fucking moron. And you're so dumb you believed it.
No, Phil, there's actual evidence that you actually had these. And there's also vlogs that you actually had that. So, no, the detractors did not do something stupid. You did, and you're trying to project it onto them, saying that they're the ones that did it, not you. So, my God.
What an idiot.
Yes, Phil, yes, you fucking are. You are the one that did this. And you tried to pass on your YouTube channel as a business. Burnell Enterprises is what you tried to call it. Like, my God, he doesn't remember any of this, yet he tries to say that it's detractor's fault. My God, dude. You know, I was going to end the video here with him just saying that it was the detractor's fault for just essentially putting his information out there on business cards when there's actual physical evidence of this, of him actually going out to conventions and handing out the cards. He decided to like give like a little inspirational quote, giving advice like he's Dr. Phil, but it doesn't really work out for him though, because he's the exact opposite of anything that he preaches.
Let me tell you something, brother.
A finale, yeah!
Snort, snort,
Hogan!
snort, snort.
Got the trip going!
I received a $1 tip.
Okay, how long is it going to take you to read this tip?
From Nick. He says, any tips for Street Fighter 6? I'm getting my ass kicked online. Here's the thing.
Everybody will get their ass kicked online. Even me. I'm not the best at fighting games, but I just play to have fun with it, though.
This game, I feel, is a great jumping on point for anybody, okay? And what's going to happen is, over time, things are going to get more solidified for people who are playing. Right now, everyone's just going and throwing their hat into the ring. You got people who've been playing Street Fighter since the beginning. You got people who've only played Street Fighter this last console generation of, like, Street Fighter 5. You got people in the middle. You got people who maybe only play Tekken or Mortal Kombat. They're trying Street Fighter. People who don't play fighting games at all, right? So, it's an interesting mix.
It really much is. Like, I'll give him that. But at the same time, though, he wants to think that anyone is going to try this out and to throw their hat in the ring for ranked. He doesn't seem to realize that other people could buy this game and play with just their friends. I mean, that is a possibility.
Someone who doesn't play Street Fighter and you're playing this, you're getting your ass handed to you, do not feel bad. Do not feel bad. What's going to happen is eventually things are going to level out. You're going to get people who are high ranked. They're going to go play the high ranked people. Everyone else is going to kind of be around middling in the middle and the bottom, and they're going to get better playing over time, gradually learning the systems and everything. Another thing to understand, people cheated. There's people who had the beta for 6 months and weren't supposed to.
Okay, the first half, I was going to kind of give him, like, a pass, but I got to take that pass right fucking back, because he actually made, like, this big ordeal about the cracked version. That's what people called that. Essentially, people had access to the beta, and they were playing it illegitimately. He doesn't seem to understand that Capcom actually went in, looked to see who was playing that cracked beta, and decided to ban those people. Anyone that was caught playing it was immediately banned. So Capcom did do something smart with it, though, but Phil seems to think otherwise with that one.
So they've had time to practice these systems. If you're getting your ass handed to you, you know, especially if you're the kind of person who doesn't sit online studying combos and shit, like some people do, don't feel bad.
Like you don't really want to study the character at all. Instead, you want to do it on stream, and that's it. But you seem to think that you know everything about Street Fighter because you know the fundamentals of Street Fighter, but you don't seem to know about the newer versions of fighting games, so you don't want to sit and study those.
Don't feel bad at all. It'll come to you in time. One thing I will tell you, this is something that's very important. I hope you all listen. If you're going to do anything in a competitive nature in life, you have to learn to be a good loser before you can be a winner.
Like, that is a good quote, though, but coming from Phil, it is very hypocritical on his part, because he is not a good loser. He is always going to be a sore loser. He'll say that the hits were unearned, the guy didn't earn the win, it's all scrub tactics, lag, input delay. He'll come up with excuses to why he's losing. If he's kicking ass in Street Fighter, he'll never have any of those complaints, and he'll be a sore fucking winner. Like, the guy's an idiot, doesn't know what they're doing, and he doesn't really seem to accept the fact that he needs to be humbled every once in a while. That's the whole legitimate thing of Street Fighter, just any multiplayer game online. You have to learn to be humbled. You're not going to get your wins, and you're going to take your losses. That's always going to be a thing.
Do you understand what that means?
I already said what I thought that meant, but knowing you, I gave a good reason why it does not apply to you.
It means that you have to take your licks in life. You have to be able to get your ass handed to you and pick your pants back up, grab your boots by your bootstraps, and say, I'm going to reapply myself, and I'm going to try to learn. Every time you lose, if you learn something from the loss, it's not technically a bad loss.
Again, Phil, even though you're saying something that could be considered as a philosophical moment for you, I'm immediately going to deny that because you never seem to accept the losses. You always will come up with excuses. You're essentially John. You know the meme from No Johns? You're essentially John, but now there's a new thing from it, which is stop filling. Because anytime someone says something and it sounds exactly like you, immediately people will say stop filling because it's toxic.
The worst kind of losses in life are ones when you lose and you learn nothing. But
like you every single time.
If you're learning from your losses and every time you're getting just a little better, then it's all good. It's all gravy, baby.
It's all good, it's all gravy, but yet you'll still come up with excuses of why you shouldn't have lost. I mean, any of your Street Fighter videos, not even just 6 in the beta, but any fighting game that you played, you've never learned from it, and you've never accepted the loss. You never learned to be humbled by it. You need to learn to accept humility in order to improve. Failure is the best teacher out there, because you can take that failure, learn from it, and improve yourself from it. But Phil will never accept the fact that he's a failure. So he'll try anything in his power to make up an excuse and deflect his own insecurities and failures onto other people, like the detractor community and Review Tech USA saying he doesn't deserve a platform because he's a failure.
That's how it was back in the day in arcades. You'd play on an arcade cabinet and you'd lose 10 games in a row, then learn something, and finally squeak out a win.
That was never the case for some people. Some people were actually good at the game. But also, you seem to misunderstand that people in arcades can also learn from the other players. They can ask around for tips, like, hey, how can I do this? And they would teach them. Phil would never be a good Street Fighter instructor, because if he was teaching these people how to play like any character like Blanca, Ryu, he would not teach them anything. Instead, he'll go, oh, you're being a loser, you're failing a lot, you need to just give up.
So don't feel bad if you're playing online and you're getting your ass beat. As long as you feel like you're learning a little bit each time about your character, it's okay to lose. And by the way, not
unless you're Phil, then it's never okay to lose.
Not being a sore loser is a huge way to finally get the mentality that you'll eventually be able to win.
Even though you are both a sore winner and a sore loser. So, again, you're not practicing what you preach with this.
There you go. Continuing on.
Yeah, like I said before, he will never learn anything from any match that he plays. And like I said before, you have to learn to accept the failure. Everybody can accept their own failures and learn from it. There are some failures that are too strong for them and they cannot overcome it. That's what friends are there for. You need somebody to keep you grounded as well as to lift you up when you need them. That is why it's always good to have someone that has your 6, because of reasons like that. Also, any online game, like I said before, you will have your wins, you'll have your losses, you learn to take them, but don't overly become bragging, like having a braggart's mentality when you win constantly, because that will never work out in your favor. If you learn any multiplayer game, it doesn't matter if it's Call of Duty or Street Fighter 6, as long as you learn how to improve yourself and how to become a better player, then everything will work out in your favor. But with that, we'll end it off on a good serotonin hit.
Got the drip going. I got the drip going.
Yeah. So nice.
I got the drip going.
I got that drip.
I got the drip going.
Like
got that Riz.
Can't make it stop.
So what do I do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button?
Yeah, you did the mute button one time and
Like,
never
I
again.
Kids.
Phil will always be the person to blame anyone and anything for something that he will never learn to do himself. Like the whole thing with the 2 currencies. He didn't learn anything about it. He didn't do any research about Capcom implementing the pay-to-win system. And also, he didn't do any research about how to manage pop-ups. He wants to put the blame onto someone else and try to think that, oh, people are nasty for it because they've done shit like that in the past. Even though said shit that has been done in the past, he had done it himself, showing off his mail and also handing out business cards to any conventions that he has participated in. But the whole thing that he tried to say at the very, very end, where he was talking about, oh, just accept the losses and learn to pick yourself back up, Phil will never practice what he preaches. Instead, he'll just be the guy that he thinks that it sounds good in his head and that he's a good instructor and a good, role model for shit like this. But we all know he's just full of shit, and he'll just do the exact opposite of what he's preaching. But with that in mind, we'll always end this beautiful video off with the almighty Phil prayer. Deliver us from the dents, deliver us from the pay pigs, deliver us from the pignosis. May we never become dented, and may we never become beggars like Darkside Phil. Amen.